Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC guy. Today I want to talk about tortoise switch machines. You know, over the last couple of years, I've shown you how to pre-wire these to make it for convenient installation later on. I've shown you how to control them using control panels and accessory decoders. So what I want to do today, though, is show you how I go about installing tortoise switch machines. I've got a section of the layout over here where I need to install a turnout. So we'll go ahead first and install a turnout that we can use this switch machine to control. And then I'll go through the procedure for installing the switch machine. And, you know, we've already been through how to wire these suckers when I was doing the accessory decoders. So that's the easy part for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, before we get started, I want to ask you to take a second to subscribe. Click on the subscribe box, and when that comes up, click on the little bell right next to it and click all. Now, as I think I've said in the past, on the Piedmont Southern, I use these microengineering turnouts. They have this bronze cast frog insert here. And on the back side, and I'm not sure how good you can see this, so I'll hold it up closer to the camera. But right in here, there's a little spot of bronze on the bottom of the casting that is not covered by the plastic here. So that's where I'm going to solder my dropper feeder to it. So let me go ahead and do that to get started. So what I want to do first, take my scratch brush, which I've shown you in the past, and I'm just going to clean that off a little bit, you know, get a little bit of the oxidation off of there. Okay, so it's now a nice and shiny bronze color. I think you can probably see it at this point. So that's good and clean, and we're going to take some rosin here. I'm just going to take a little dab of rosin and put it on here, because I want this done fast because I don't want to apply a lot of heat and melt the plastic and cause that bronze casting to come loose. So I've already taken a piece of wire that I use for my frogs, and you can see I put a little L bend in it right here, and that I'm going to attach to the bottom of the frog there. So let me go ahead and we'll pre-tin that one. See if we're there. Okay, so that's pre-tinned. And I also want to pre-tin the bare spot on the bottom of that frog. Now, when you're doing this, it's important to have it on a nice flat surface so that that frog casting, if it does get a little loose, is not going to work out or move at all in the plastic. I've never had it happen, but, you know, then I always do it this way. Let's see if we can't get our little feeder connected now. Give it a little tug and make sure it's good and tight so you can see that's not coming loose. First thing we want to do is get the turnout properly located on the cork roadbed where it's going to be positioned finally, and then mark on the cork the locations for the holes that we want to install here. Now there has to be a hole right under this portion of the frog because that's where the feeder wire is going to be. And then we need to mark the location back here of the points. So now what I have to do is I need to drill a hole here so that I can put my feeder wire through it, and I have to drill a hole right here so that the throw wire from the tortoise can come up through here. So let me get the drill out and we'll get started with that. I'm going to go ahead and cut a small area of free from the cork here where I need to drill a hole and get a hole drilled for the throw. Let me go ahead and pull that out of there. There we go, that's cleaned out. Don't have to worry about up here, except to mark the exact location of the hole, and that's going to be right there. And we'll go ahead and drill a hole right here for the wire. Okay, so let's go ahead and drill this hole. And I'll go ahead and get my vacuum out, shop vacuum, we'll get that cleaned up. So I've got my hole drilled, and got a hole drilled right here. So we can now just drop this guy into place, as you can see. And let's give a test fit for our tortoise. I've already put a longer and heavier piece of wire in here. This is 0.032 inch piano wire that I picked up at the hobby shop, and I just made it long enough to fit up through here. So let's see if it's going to make it. Okay, there it is, coming up through there. Now, one thing I know I still need to do is increase the hole in my throw rod. But we can see that it's going to be plenty long enough. Okay, so I'm just going to take this pin vise drill bit, which is 0.035, and open that up so that I can guarantee that that rod is going to fit through there. Okay, let's drop that back into place, and we'll do a test fit again. So as I hope you can see, the throw rod is up through there, so let's cycle it and make sure it's going to throw right. It seems to be working okay, so we can go ahead, put the adhesive down, and put this turnout into place. Let's go ahead and get that turnout installed now. Okay, the main area is right here at the points. You don't want to get so much adhesive in there that you prevent those from moving freely. So let's drop that into place and see how it does. So those are moving freely, nothing underneath there. And we'll give it a good rolling. Let's go ahead and pin it down just to make sure it doesn't move around for any reason before the adhesive sets up. Okay, that's going to hold it in place and make sure it doesn't get out of alignment while it's setting up. Now I want to point out again that what I'm using here, liquid nails for projects, you can clean it up with water, and it does hold fairly well. The next thing we want to do is, as soon as that sets up, I can go ahead and we'll install the Tortoise switch machine from underneath. So let's take a look at how that works. For this demonstration, because of the difficulty in trying to shoot a video from underneath of a layout, I'm just going to do this here on a piece of scrap plywood to give you an idea of what it takes crawling around under the layout to do it. Basically, I've drilled the same hole, And this is where our tortoise is going to be placed, just like that. Now, conveniently, our friends at Circuitron, who make the tortoises, also produce this drilling template. So it's very simple. You place one hole over the hole that you drilled, and then you mark the 4 holes for the screws that are going to hold it in place. So let's go ahead and get that done. There we go. Now I'm just going to make a mark through the template. Of course, you could measure it out and make your own template, but these are fairly inexpensive to purchase, and you can get those when you buy your tortoise switch machines. So now I'm going to drill holes for the screws that are going to need to go in here. Tell you, that's a lot easier than trying to stand on your head and do all this at the same time. What I want to do first is start a pair of these screws on the same side, and you'll see why in just a second. Just get those started there. I'm going to leave these 2 out. Now we'll feed the throw rod on up through the hole here in the bottom, and then set those first 2 screws into the slots provided here on the side of our tortoise switch machine. So that's going to help hold everything in place while we insert the other 2 screws on the other side. So while those are in there, I'm going to go ahead and start a couple of more. These are number 4 1/2-inch screws. They work well for holding these in place. Okay, we got that one, and now let's get the other side started. Using one of these extensions or a very long screwdriver helps a lot. Okay, let me flip it around and we'll do the other side. So that provides a good tight mount for the screws. Everything's in place, and when we throw the switch machine, we're going to get a good throw on the turnout. Now, for those of you that watched the video that I did on installing the Blue Point switch machines, I'm going to use a very similar procedure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the throw bar or throw rod up through the rod between the points and get that wire back up through there. And then I'm going to clip it with my hemostat so I can work underneath and install the rest from there. So let's see if I can get that done. I've already installed a couple of screws. Okay, so there's the little throw rod there. Now I just need to get it to come up between. There we go. Right there it is. Wasn't that difficult to catch it. And I'm going to snip it there with the hemostat so it's not going to fall out. Now I need to climb back down onto the floor and drive these screws home. And then I'll show you how this works. Now I can take the hemostat loose, everything's in place, and we'll give it a spin and see how it works. Okay, so that's tight. Let me throw it the other way. And we've got a good tight fit there as well. Going to adjust it down a little bit. There we go. Come back the other way as well. So that's a good tight fit on both throws. So now all we have to do is wire it up to switch 8, and we're ready to roll. Well, that's a wrap for today's video. You know, I've been using Tortoise switch machines for 25, 30 years or better, and I am very happy with them. They hold up very well. Occasionally you do have a one of the little switch machine, or one of the switch components internally will pop loose, and I showed in another video how to repair those. But you know, if these things are still under warranty, you're probably better off sending them in and having Circuitron repair them, check your warranty papers, and save your original purchase receipt. You will need that in order to get warranty service. If you don't have it, then you're going to have to repair it yourself. But other than that, that's about it. I will have a video following up on this to show how you can use the other set of switch contacts here that I haven't got anything installed with yet to control power to the approach track on one leg of the frog end of the turnout. And I'll tell you why that's a good thing to do and show you exactly how to go about doing it. That video will probably be about a week or so before I get a chance to follow up with that. In the meantime, have a good week, and we'll see you here on Friday with another video from the DCC Guy. Bye now.